I don't know a lot. I mean, I'm smart enough to know that I don't know anything. I mean, and that's the reality. I think you have to take a step back from your ego. The reality is, the less you acknowledge that you know, the better off you need to be.
Right, absolutely. And so what steps are you taking? Obviously it's a slow process, but what steps are you taking to ensure that, you get to that level wherever you're trying to get to?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I a lot of times I say I want it done yesterday, and I have to be patient because it's just you have all these goals and you see all these visions that you want to do. Right now I'm about done with my website. I have a real estate fund with a lawyer that I'm setting up. I've already reached out to friends and family with telling them about what I'm doing. So I've raised some money through that, just through friends and family, through the Raise Masters. I mean, really, it's about, listen, you have to, we have to invest in ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves. But what do I mean by that? I mean, we're part of a mastermind group that's not cheap, but it's going to pay dividends. Sometimes obviously it takes money to get to where you want to be. It takes money to make money, just to be super cliche, to get to where we want to be. So what am I doing? So I'm investing in these groups. I'm going to social events and stuff like that. Whether it's podcasts, I mean, something as simple as podcasts. Right. There's so much information out there where you could access these great minds of real estate. It's right at our disposal for free. Instead of sitting at home watching a movie, I'll put on a podcast or I'll read a book or something along those lines. It's just constant and never-ending movement, okay? I mean, staying stagnant to me is kind of like, yes, there's times where you need to recharge, and I get that, but stagnation to me is unacceptable. So it's endless and constant movement, even if it just is something as small as a podcast, or it's something as big as reaching out to a potential mentor and saying, "Hey, can you help me out here? I'm in a bind," and it's just things like that.
Yeah, I want you to speak to the fact that you've had these mentors in the past, and you mentioned that you've surrounded yourself with like-minded people. How has that helped you in your real estate journey so far, or sort of to help you accelerate that journey for you?
Listen, I think it's super, I don't know a lot. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know anything. And that's the reality. I think you have to take a step back from your ego, and the reality is, the less you acknowledge that you know, the better off you need to be. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room, but you need to surround yourself with smart people. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I've reached out to people who have been down this journey before, and it's like joining this Raise Masters group. It's just, you have to surround yourself with successful people. And successful
Absolutely.
People want to help other people who are in pursuit of the same things that they have. It's a different story, maybe a different podcast. In earlier stages of my life, I was not surrounding myself with successful people. I was putting myself in situations which were not healthy or beneficial on so many levels. And once I made that transition, you can even go back to that real estate, the principal of that real estate company. He kind of helped me out. He saw what I was trying to do. He said, no, let's go this way. Instead of doing that, let's roll it over into this building. It's going to make more sense. It's finding people that have had the experience. I'm in a program where they say you always want to be with people who are 6 to 10 months ahead of you. And that's where where you want to go. So find that group of people. They're out there, and surround yourself with them. It's not something we can all do on our own. It's not. You have to be willing to, delegate work where you can, something like a virtual assistant, but also to say, hey, reach up. Don't reach up and say, hey, I need help. You seem like you've done this before. Can you help me? Or what can I do? What can I do in this situation? Can you give me any guidance? Something along those lines. And in return, we bring a lot to the table. A lot of times we undervalue ourselves. In return, a lot of people get a lot out of helping us. It helps them too, because they're getting something out of it. So don't think that you're always a burden, okay? And it's not true. In many situations, by us reaching out, it helps the other person as well. Whether it's for them, it's self-fulfillment for them, or maybe they're just revisiting something that's been on the back burner for them, and it's refreshing them. So it's the squeaky wheel gets the oil. If you don't ask the question, you're not going to get the help. Don't think we could do everything on ourselves. Yeah. It's just not realistic. I say surround yourself with like-minded people.
And you mentioned the fact that sometimes it's self-fulfillment for them, and sometimes it's something else. So, I initially, when I had started out, not just in real estate, just generally in life, when I was looking for help, I always felt initially that it was always about money, right? Oh, I the only thing I can do is bring money to the table. But as I've grown in my life, in my profession, and in real estate, I've realized that money does play an important role, but that's not the only thing that people are looking for. For example, your mentor, who was the principal of your real estate company, he was not necessarily looking for you to pay him something for that, but he was looking for something else to help you grow. But at the same time, when you're a mentee, like you're getting mentored by somebody, you have to bring that to the table. You have to meet the expectations of the mentor so that they can feel fulfilled helping you grow.
I mean, you got to pay it forward. I mean, that's 100%. I mean, that's the reality of it. And I think a lot of these successful people acknowledge that, and someone has helped them along their journey, and you have to pay it forward. I mean, that is so true. I mean, we in life, you have to give in order to get, and I think by helping people in that capacity or whatever capacity you want to call it, I think it's really important that we don't lose sight of that. It's not, at the end of the day, yes, it's all about it's not all about money, I should say. It's about creating a situation where you're able to give back to people, and I think ultimately a lot of these people who are helping you out are doing just that. And I look forward. You can help. You can help anyone, and I try to make a point to help people the best I can, whether it's even just holding a door for someone. I mean, these are little things I try and instill upon my kids. But I think it's your duty and obligation that when you get to a point where you can help people, that we need to help other people succeed. Don't ever forget where you came from. Instead of just always looking forward, sometimes you have to look back and extend a hand to help somebody climb up to that level as well. And I've been fortunate enough to find those people that are willing to do just that. And I don't think it's by coincidence. I think it's about what you put out there. Positive, like attracts like. You put out positive, you're going to get positive back. It's super powerful. You know that. You put out negative, you're going to get negative back. We're not reinventing the wheel.
I agree 100%. I think that's the way the world works, right? I agree 100% with you. I mean, you really gotta have that positive energy that you bring forth to attract other people who have the same energy as you do.
I mean, that's it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's so universal in everything in life. You are what you think. I know we could say those things. We've all read those books, and they're super right. I mean, it's right.
Yeah.
They've been around for a long time, and they've helped a lot of people.
It's cliche till you realize that it's right.
That's right. Yeah, it's all cliche until you're like, wait, this actually works. I had a buddy who I used to cold call with, who's now like a top real estate broker in the country, to the celebrities, and he tells me, he goes, I remember the days when we used to sit in the basement, and every morning I'd write on my goals, I want to sell $1 million in real estate, and every morning he would review it. And now he sells, exponential, a crazy amount of money. But he's like, it's what you put out there is what you get back. You have to not only put it out there, you have to feel it. You have to acknowledge that experience before it even happens in order for it to happen. In order to get big, you got to dream big.
That is true. Let's talk about your real estate. You had mentioned that you are now looking to be a GP in the Northeast. Why did you particularly choose the Northeast? And why this niche of multifamily that you chose?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll take a step back. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the Northeast. I said the Northeast because that's my backyard. That's where we've had our properties. But the more, it's where the deal is, where it makes sense. I think I'll be looking at a lot of different markets. I like the Midwest, certain areas in the Midwest. I know you like Ohio. I mean, Ohio is very attractive. There's a lot of factors. Traditionally, we're looking at things like, average household income with population growth, job. But now, all those things. But now there's other things, I think, where we're going to be seeing just deals in general. And we're going to go to where the deals are, where you're going to see discounts, where, there's going to be a lot of opportunities from these properties that had bridge loans that are going to be coming due. So it's going to be more of a focus of where those deals are. I could tell you, I probably am not one to go to Texas for some reason. I just don't want to go that far down. But I would say Florida, Ohio, and some parts of the Northeast. It's just a matter of where the deals are, for sure. Yeah.
Of course. So, Frank, what do you want to leave our listeners with, in terms of your insights from your journey so far in your career, from being a restaurateur, to being in wine sales and now into real estate?
Yeah, listen, I would say this. I mean, the reality is you got to put the work in. You have to believe in yourself for sure. I think real estate for me, and I think for you, is a great way to get to our end game, and it's a great opportunity for people to invest. But it's a matter of belief in yourself. Taking on fears full speed ahead. If you do the thing you fear, fear will dissipate and disappear. Doubt. Don't be, we all have doubt, but just go at it full speed ahead. And I think that's really what I would just want people to take away from this. And I, for one, it's just about also surrounding yourself with like-minded people, And I think that's super important. If you surround yourself with the people you want to be with, or you want to be like in the end game, and that's super, super important.
Very cool. And if people want to contact you or work with you, how can they reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. You could go to our website. It's damroassets.com. That's DAMRO assets.com. Follow us on Instagram. It's at Damro Assets, and our Facebook page is Damro Assets as well.
Perfect. Very cool. Well, this was a fun conversation, man. I really loved having you and, sharing your journey with all that you've done so far. It was amazing.
Yeah, listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for making the time. I can't wait to have you, when I get a podcast, to have you on, because I know you have a lot to say as well. And, my father was a doctor.
I would love that.
My father was a doctor. I know you're a doctor, and, it's super cool to me. So I commend you, and I appreciate everything. Thanks.
Thank you so much, man. I would love that.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode, and we'll see you on the next episode. All right, guys, if you haven't done already, please go check out my free video series on how to do due diligence on operators and on deals before investing in them. It's called Real Estate RX for Passive Investors, and it's available at www.rerxcourse.com.